So this is us pinging from host A to the router. As you can see, the pings work and we can successfully contact the router. But now, when Charlie starts to poison the routes between host A and the router that we're using, so now we can see that all the traffic that goes through my computer is seen on his computer right there in the packets. And another example of this is when we try to use SSH, or when we try and use Telnet. So now we can see that when I try to do Telnet, that when I do this, he can now see the Telnet session right in here. See, everything that I wrote he can see. And the way to stop this is by using an encrypted version of SSH, which you can do by doing this.
Oh no, they got it. Oops. Hey.
Shaky camera. Cisco.
And now this just encrypted it, IP SSH version 2. And now when I start an SSH session, like this, he can't see the SSH session that we're going, even if it is supposed to show up. It's supposed to show up in here if it was not encrypted, but as you can see, there's no actual session being recorded. So that's how to both attack a router and a host connection and mitigate. So right now we're going to test the cam table spamming using dsniff's macoff command. So right now we can see that the MAC address table just consists of the 4 static MAC addresses and 2 dynamics that we have directly plugged into the switch. But when Charlie runs macoff on his computer on backtrack, what's going to happen is this shows like a bunch of different more, whoops, yeah, this shows a lot more MAC addresses, and it essentially accomplished its job. And the way that we stop this is by doing switch port security, which enables the port security, and then you set the maximum to 2. And so now if we clear the MAC address table, oops, I forgot to put do there. We can see that it's back to what we had before. So if Charlie tries to run the command again, and then stops it, what happened is that it got shut down. And so it's still back to where it was. So we successfully mitigated that attack. So right here we have an example of how to both use and mitigate DHCP starvation attacks. Right now we can see this is the console access to the DHCP server, which is also the router that I'm connected to. This computer is currently the one that is connected to the router, but we can see that when Charlie runs the attack through Usernia, which sends a bunch of different discover packets to the server and then stops it, it spams the DHCP server with a bunch of IPs. And the way to stop this is by going to the switch and actually turning on switch port security. Whoops, it works. And then port security MAC address sticky. And so once we do that, let me just clear this again. Once we do that, we can see show IP DHCP findings. Dang it.
Alright, see you soon.
Now that this is cleared, let's have Charlie run his attack again. And what happened is actually we can see errors popping up with the switch that shuts the port down and makes it so that the attack doesn't actually work.